Hey everybody, how you doing today? Mr. A here from Fathers Read 365. That's what I'm known as in the literacy streets. I keep Staples here, better known as Mr. A. Come on in. If you can see this, come on in. Please join the chat. Appreciate you. Definitely love your input on what I am about to share here. So please come on in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share to our channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Give me 1 sec. I will be right back while you all come in here. 1 minute. Not even. Just a few seconds. Y'all like my chair? Wife got that. Yes. I gotta get some music, maybe in the background, right? Music in the background. Okay. Hey, so if anyone is out there and sees me, please tune in, and let's get into it. So, title, why would you block this blessing? So yesterday, Mr. B and myself, we had a great event that we were putting on in West Philadelphia at, I don't want to pronounce this wrong, Guion Bluford School. So Bluford is the school we were at. So we were putting on what is called a BFC, Bettering Fathers Coalition. Give you context on the BFC. So this is a movement that we've already initiated and started. However, this one was special because we were, I guess you could say, chosen by State Senator Vincent Hughes. And he actually funded us to go out into the community and start to build this group of fathers, of engaged fathers. And for what we do, for what Mr. B and myself do, or his name is Brent Johnstone, but known as Mr. B out here in these literacy streets, wanted us to, get the brothers together. And whatever the brothers look like, the men, okay? The men in the community, he asked us if we could start to bring them together for a purpose. And our purpose is all about being engaged and literacy, as well as some other things. But we want to make sure that fathers are engaged at the earliest as possible. But, we may be meeting them sometimes in these schools, which we did at Bluford. So we're presenting at their, I believe they might have called it Donuts for Dads or whatever the case may be. Let me tell you something. it was magical in that auditorium, cafeteria place where we were putting on this. Well, we were adding to this event, this donut for dads, me and Mr. B. Yes, come on in. Come on in. If you see me, come on in. Come on in. Say something. Comment, especially when I get more into this. So, we're sharing about what the BFC is, why we created it, and what it can do in order to change the culture at that school. So, the idea of the BFC is to get groups of fathers together and work with the administration, with school administration, wherever the school may be. For what I'm talking about here, I'm sharing about the school named Blueford, which is located in West Philadelphia, but this can be for any school. So I want you to keep that in your mind, that this will be recreated in other schools out there. So we're at Blueford and we're sharing. Well, yeah, we're sharing. We complete our share, and now they move into the next phases of their event, because it seemed like there were other individuals who had information to share to the fathers, who then the kids came down. It was just a great event, great time, great resources being shared. Like I said, what we do with Fathers Read 365 and how we can now begin this culture at Blueford, where these engaged fathers who are committing, because we asked the fathers to commit there, that they can come back and be a part of creating this community at Blueford. It's pretty much, the BFC can be, if you think about it, like a PTA, okay, for fathers. The BFC is a PTA for fathers. So again, with all of this, the information that we're sharing, wanting to get fathers more engaged, how they can do that. So we give them models that we'll be introducing later on in the fall, which is our Fathers Read on Fridays. And then in the spring, we'll come back and have a book fair with the fathers volunteering to, be the facilitators and passing the books out to the kids in the school. So we're creating this BFC. We share. Event is, now moving into kids engaging with their fathers and just, So as I'm talking to some gentlemen who come up to me and just want to say, hey, great event. Love what you guys are doing. This is usually what happens. People share, they feel touched, moved, and inspired. So I'm sharing with gentlemen, who are coming up to me, and it's like I'm going through this line of people who are wanting to engage, which is amazing. Please let me tell you, it is an amazing experience to touch someone, because it didn't have to be all of them, but someone that resonated. So to be able to share in the moment, I get to this gentleman, and this, folks, where are we at right now in this live? This is where the story begins of why would you block this blessing. So I'm talking to a gentleman. I could feel his energy, that it was, of course he wanted to engage with me. He had something to share, but I could just feel his energy was kind of off. Well, after that interaction, Mr. B comes up to me and he says, oh, wow, that gentleman you were talking to, while I was in the office, there was something going on. There was an issue. So he began to share what the issue was. And this is like I said, this is the title. This is why I want you all to know, because it's even deeper than this, because I have my own personal story to share around it. Not in the same exact way that it was shown here, but I will definitely get into that. So Mr. B tells me, yes, when I was in the office, the mother of the children whom she had with the father, who I was speaking to at the time, she was present on a day where the event was about the father. However, she came to, and okay, now I can see my timer. So I guess we are about around 9-ish minutes where this story really gets down to it. But she is in there and she is saying that she has a restraining order. You hear me? She says she has a restraining order against this father and that he should not be within whatever distance. I'm not going to go into, if you know of what a restraining order is, you can't come within a certain amount of feet of an individual. Okay? But listen to me. We are at an event for fathers. So that is what the father shared in the moment. He said, hey, slow down. Whatever it is, whatever you're going through, this is an event for fathers. And that's what he shared. So he said that with the school administration, whoever was in that front office, and Mr. B was like, he made that statement, and then he's looking and at the school office administration, which was, I believe he said, maybe 100% women. And, they listen to what this gentleman says, and it's like, yes, he is correct. This is an event for fathers. So whatever the case may be, all I know is what I'm sharing with you is that I was talking to that gentleman. So he made it through. Okay, but why? Why? And now we're at the title, like I said, now we're getting into it. Why would you block that blessing? And I'm talking to not only this mother, and it's not blaming her, because we just don't know how that relationship worked out, that she would stop the father of her children from engaging with them at, an event, whatever the case may be, but just blocking him from engaging with them. And that right there is blocking a blessing. And now I'm going to get into why this touches me so much, or is so relatable for myself, is if you have the opportunity, please go check out our documentary. It's called Reading is Love. You can stream it for free on Tubi, on Folsom, and you can catch it on Amazon Prime Video. Please go check it out. Get our viewership up, for Reading is Love. It's a documentary that Mr. B and myself co-produced with Amber Jones, one of the best directors in the world, Temple University alumni grads. Yep, check her out. She's at Daphne Pictures. But Reading is Love. When you have an opportunity, please look at it. I share more about my own personal story, just growing up in a single parent household the majority of my life, and how it got to be that single parent household. And I share around the custody battle, which is what it was. It was a full custody battle, or it was a custody, I'm going to say custody battle for, me when I was 2 years old. So this is over 40 some odd years ago. And my mother was granted full custody of me. I did not know about my biological father until I was 5 years old. Okay. And like I said, go to Reading is Love. I talk about this in there. I share this part of my story. And when I finally get a chance to meet my father at the age of 5, my mother, in after that meeting, I asked her, who was that man? Was he my father? Because I knew of my stepfather who had come to, and I don't mean anything by stepfather, but I only knew of my father. Let me say this, my father, who happened to be my stepfather, and I didn't know because I just was introduced to my biological father, or he introduced himself to me. And what I'm getting to is that when I'm asking my mother as a 5-year-old, who I'm looking at my mother as my almighty queen, you know, the woman who takes care of me, feeds me, clothes me, gives me the things that I want. So it's like, oh, you know, I love my mother, and that is what I knew. And then I get told a story, or I get told her perspective. Let me say that. I'm not going to say I got told a story. I got told her perspective. And she got a chance to share with her child. Now, you know, just think of mothers when they share this information with their children, what it is that they are doing when they share their side of the story. How are they sharing it? How are they sharing it? So the story, or the perspective, I should say, right? The perspective that I was told from my mother. If you are any type of, you know, son, or you just wanting to protect the women in your life, you are going to side with who? Probably your mother, right? And that is exactly what happened. After she shared her perspective with me, I was like, oh, what? No way. You know, I would deal with this man who is my biological father. But this is the kind of, you know, humorous. Not it was humorous to me when I thought about it. It was, I still was given the opportunity that if I wanted to build a relationship with my biological father, my mother granted me that ability to do that. But when I was given, like I said, the story or the background of the situation, it had me not want to create a relationship with my father. So thankfully, there were no situations, excuse me, as such that there was an, like, similar to an experience at Blueford where there was an event and my mother was like, you know, I have a restraining order, or get him away. He's not supposed to be here around his children, blah, blah, blah. None of that. But now, you know, I want to speak to any mothers out there who may not have had the best workable relationship with the father. Please just know, speaking from a child who has been a part of a single parent household for over 90% of his adult life, and you know, there are others who have longer histories of living in a single parent household than myself, whether it's with the mother or the father or whomever was or is the caregiver of that child or human being. Is you know, please allow that child to experience their, I'm gonna, you know, say it here, their father Please allow that child to experience their father without any siding, meaning choosing of sides, like I'm the better parent, you should want to be with me, stay away from this. Children need to see it. Children need to see workable relationships. So when we as parents and caregivers bring a child into this world, please, 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 speaking from a child, like I said, living in a single parent household, over 90% of my human experience, please show that child that you can still operate without it having to be conflict, whether you live in the house with them or not. Let's just say you don't live in the house with them. It's a situation like that it's always workable. Okay. There's no arguing going on in front of the child. There's no conflict at all in front of the child. They do not need to see that. Not saying these children saw that when we were at the school yesterday, but they don't need to see it, period. They need to see mom and dad work communicating effectively. Because if there are any disagreements, which there can be, just make sure they're not done in the same space of your children. Okay? Just make sure they're not done in the same space as your children. And like I said, mothers, please, if you have a father who wants to be engaged with their children, don't block that blessing. And they're not, considering they are not a bad, abusive parent, whether that is verbal abuse or physical abuse, then I would say yes. That father, if you're taking care of the child and you're a single parent, mother, vice versa, that, we keep that child safe. So if it is safe, we're saying that these situations are safe for the child to be around for the father to be around their child. And that is a positive man who is trying to do better in his life. Please do not block that blessing. Okay. So folks, thank you for joining here. If there is, and I hope there is, I'm not even hoping, please comment if you have experienced anything. So I would like, any child who has lived in a single parent household and actually seen or experienced these types of things where the mother is trying to keep you away from your father. What did that do to you psychologically? How did you handle that experience? Your sharing is caring. So I know I'm not the only individual who has dealt with any types of situations like this. So if you've dealt with, that type of situation, mothers out there, have you done this? Would you be willing to share and be vulnerable if you've done this in the past? How did it turn out? Or if you currently are doing something like this, and you could be able to talk through it here in this space, in this community, because we don't invite anything but love into our community, peace and love into our community. So if there is anyone who is going to be sharing comments, please, folks, we're not judging anybody. Nobody's perfect. We are just looking at the situation and seeing how we could come up with a solution if one needs to be created, for the situation. And fathers, if you are doing things the right way, and you just want to be engaged with your kids, are you experiencing a situation where the mother is, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something as drastic as a restraining order, but is the mother trying to keep you away from your child or children? And if so, how is that impacting you? And is there anything that you need from this community in order to support you and help you? So please let us know, Daz. Tap in with us. We are beginning a BFC group, so please look out for that on Facebook. And yeah, just stay tuned, okay? We appreciate you all. Make sure, like I said, go check out Reading is Love. That is our documentary. You can get it on Amazon Prime. You can download it on Tubi or Folsom, okay? You can stream it on there. Download, stream, whatever it is. And what else? What else? Hey, we're about to get into the summer here. What they call the summer slide is, when kids may not be picking up those books like they should over the summer. Let's make sure that we keep the reading going, and let's make sure that it is, not only fun, because we always want to have, some fun readings, but let's have some challenging readings as we're going up in grades and going up in levels. Okay, kids, if you're watching this, because this is content that's meant for anyone. Okay, so if you're watching this, please give me a thumbs up and make sure that you promise to get some good reading in this summer. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you for joining me here again, Mr. A. And I just wanted to share, we can't block blessings. Not blessings when dads want to be engaged with their kids, and they're positive, good, upstanding human beings that mean well and want to build better communities. Okay? All right, everyone. You have a great rest of your day. Stay locked. Stay tuned in. I was going to say stay locked in. Stay tuned in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share our content. Please, this has to get out. We got to heal this world. We got to heal this world, and we need people just like you. Okay? Nothing but peace and love. Check you soon.